everybody, Chrissy here. Yeah, the temperature dropped pretty precipitously here in Kentucky. We didn't get a very pretty fall. The drought caused all the leaves to kind of just die first, but we've got a few hanging on. Nonetheless, it's my favorite time to be out. You get to wear nice hats. But yeah, and it's cool. A lot of the bitey bugs are gone, but yeah, nonetheless, 2 days ago we were out walking around my aunt's pond and we startled a couple bullfrogs, or they startled me, but that's another story. But anyway, so the bullfrogs are still out, and when we have these warm fall days, and there will be some, the bugs do come back out, make a reprise, especially ladybugs, but and the frogs, they still come back out, and so you can still get you some if you're interested. But that brings me around. What we're going to be making today is a fishing spear or a frog gig. I thought maybe these folks don't know how to make one. It's a good survival tool. I made a slingshot in the last video, and you know, I'm not so good with it, but a frogging gig or a fishing spear, now that's more in my wheelhouse. So yeah. My favorite tree for making the frog gig is a tulip poplar, and this is a tulip poplar. And the leaves, let me find a better specimen, kind of have this tulipy shape. And a good way to also know if you found a tulip poplar is to scratch it, and it's got kind of like a lemony, citrusy smell. I love it. But anyway, they're the tallest eastern hardwood, I believe, in the United States, and they're really sought after for their lumber because they grow tall and without very many knots, and then they've got long, straight grain. But they're not like a real heavy, dense wood for like making like axe handles and stuff. But for something like this, they're perfect. Also, a good tree to know if you're in the survival bushcrafting, because the fibers, the inner fibers of the tulip poplar make excellent cordage, because like I said, they grow tall and straight. You get long pieces of the inner cambium, especially if you find it dry, and you can just twist it into a pretty little cordage, and it'll serve you well. But anyway, all that rambling aside, if you're interested in making a frog gig or a fishing spear, stick with me, we're going to get it done. I guess I'm looking around, I'm seeing a lot of tall saplings that we can use, because that's what we're going to use. We're going to use a sapling, something maybe $50 size or so. Puppies. But yeah, so I'm seeing a lot of things that I could use, but here we go. This is perfect. And you see, this is a poplar, tall and skinny. And the thing about poplar trees is a lot of times they'll grow in these little clusters and they compete for the light, so a lot of them will end up dying out anyway, so you don't got to feel guilty about taking one of these. And that's why I chose the poplar also. I don't want to take any of the other hardwoods, because they are not as prolific, in my opinion, as the poplar. Alrighty guys, since we started with the knife, I figure what the heck, we'll go ahead and try to finish it up with the knife. Now this guy is like easily 8 foot long. You want to pick a spear that's longer than you are. For one, you need reach, and two, it makes it safer for when you're packing it not to trip and fall and stick yourself or stick yourself in your toe, or stick yourself in your face, depending on which way you carry it. So if it's longer than you are, the business end is at least going to be out from you some. So what we're going to do, I've just knocked off all the little edges. This is the end I want to make my spear on. So I want this guy to at least be as big around as my thumb. So right here, we're going to whittle it down, and then we're going to put points on it. Alrighty guys, so I got what would be my handle in up on my shoulder, resting, because that's the only way we're going to be able to really get on this. So I'd say the best way to go about it is to go around, kind of take off that bark and get down to that next little layer, just about that much. See? Not a lot. Do that on all 4 sides. Well, do it all the way around to make 4 sides. That's what I'm getting at. Kind of make you a square, because square is always easier to work with than round in nature. Easier to kind of take direction from. Alright, so, and now we got our 4th side here. Sorry about that machinery noise in the background if you can hear it. There's some farmers out the road working on getting their hay in before the winter gets in, and it's a little loud. Okay, so now that we've kind of got like a square shape, here we're just going to peel these back so we can see what we're working with. Okay. So now we're just going to follow on through with these squares. Take them down a little more to a point. Dig in a little further each go around. Digging down a little further each go around towards the little mushroom that we've got here. And what we're going to end up with, if we keep going, will be a nice little point. Oh, see? And it just broke with my body weight. See? And now we've got a little point to work with. And we didn't have to have a saw. So I'm going to clean some of this bark off just so we can see what we're doing. Plus that'll make it make it more functional, make the points go into our critter a little easier. Alrighty guys, what I've done is I've just stripped the bark back about 8 inches, 6 to 8 inches from the points. These are our little flat points that we made. So what we're going to do, go right down the middle of one of our little flat points that we made, about a Post-it note size. And we're going to baton that down. Don't ever baton on a rock, but in order for me to get this in frame, I had to put it on a rock because I couldn't get it up on a log. Find yourself a log or something. Yeah, I've put some bark here. Fingers crossed we don't destroy my knife, but whatever. Here we go. You see that? We split through. Just a couple whacks. Perfect. So take your knife out. Or rotate it to one of those other flat sods that we've made. Now, a whack. All right. Oh, you split off to the side. No worries, it'll still work. Alrighty guys, so we've got a split end right here. And all I'm doing is going around, holding it together, and just kind of lightly taking some of these square edges we've got down and making this more of a point, and that's going to save us a little headache here in a minute. Just go ahead and make this into a sharp spear end. Alright, so make a little loop, a little bite, come back here. There's the end of our split. We're going to come back about right there, about 5 inches total, 2 inches off the end of our split, and you're going to bring this around on itself like that, over and over. Bring your little toe through the loop, that, pull it tight. You'll feel that knot pull about middle ways, and you're good. We're just gonna nip this off. Now if you had paracord, you could cut these a little closer and just kind of hit them with a lighter and stick them to themselves. And that would make it look a little nicer and more finished, but we're not worried about that today. We're worried about function. So, and this will serve you fine. All right, now that we've got our lashings back here, we're gonna get a couple sticks. This is an end off one of those branches, so one of those tulip poplar branches. Just gonna break it in half. And we're gonna work our way between a couple of these points. Here it's splitting, and that's why you want that lashing, because it is going to split out. So what we got. All right, now we're going to do the other crossways. This. Alrighty guys, so that one did split. It's hanging on by a thread, but we're going to go ahead and leave it because we're going to wrap some cordage around here and it's going to hang on for a while anyway. And oftentimes that happens because it's hard to perfectly split a tree branch into four equal pieces. But yeah, with some finesse, you'll get there. So, but yeah, if this happens, no biggie. We're going to wrap some bank line or some cordage around here, and it's going to serve you just fine for a while anyway. And when it does finally wiggle its way loose, it'll be fine. You'll still have 3 serviceable prongs. So let's get some of that bank line and wrap this up. Alrighty guys, so there's really no right or wrong way to go about this. I'm just going to go around the top first. Give it a good couple twists. Pull it as tight as I can, and that's going to, like I said, preserve that blade right there. See, it's pulling it in on itself. That's going to give us a little bit of usage. Probably a good bit, actually. All right, let's twist it on itself. Just so long as you're coming above this guy. All right, now we've got about 3 revolutions around that way. We're going to take this back in and go around the back, or on the underneath side. Pull it tight. About 3 revolutions on the bottom. And now you're going to get down on it. Get crunk with it. Tight as you absolutely can right here. Okay. Maybe bring it around one more time just for the sake of getting it tighter. Okay. So let's nip this off. We can nip our spear, or we can nip these ends off too. Nip these ends off too. Go, bud. That's kind of what you're left with. Now you could split these even further and make them wider, but that's going to serve you. It's a little broken one, so it'll still work for a while. But yeah, these other 3, they're in good shape. Now, if you really want to sharpen them up, at this point, you just go in and do your fine tuning. And you'll have to do this over and over again as you gig. But the thing is, it's pretty renewable. This breaks off, you just go back a little further, and a little further, and a little further. So. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, this is the finished product. It's just to the tip of my fingers. When I step on my tiptoes, I am 5'6", so maybe a little bit longer. You know, the more length that you can get, especially out of these poplars, because they're kind of lightweight, especially after they dry out, the better, because you're going to get more distance with it. But this is the perfect length. I'm in no danger of jabbing myself under the chin or anything if I fall. But yeah, so I want to show you this thing in action, guys, but I really have no business killing a frog today because I'm not going to eat a frog, and I really can't do that. I can't stomach to kill something and not use it. So I'm going to track down something I will eat and at least stab it for you. All right, so hang tight. Alrighty, guys, we have tracked down the elusive roll. So after a long and arduous hunt, we're going to kill this thing and take it home and feast. We nailed it. All 4 prongs are still hanging in there. And it stabbed down in the ground a good bit. Yeah, so I'm take home my bounty and feast. It's not the softest roll. we're gonna eat it anyway. Look, the supervisors are telling me it's time to go. It's lunchtime, right? It's lunchtime. Alrighty guys, I want to thank you as always for joining me today and supporting my channel. Take care of yourselves, folks, and I hope to see you again next time. The fruits of our labor: smokehouse cheddar, applewood bacon, and egg on our roll. See where we stabbed it there? Supervisors. Anyway, yeah, waste not, want not.